All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Victoria. I am the customer support specialist with Punchpass, and I'm here to talk to you today about online payments. So, how you can use Punchpass and our different online payment capabilities to make sure that you are getting the most out of your system, and as well as making sure that you're getting paid for what you're doing, because that's a very important part of the process. So we're going to walk through a lot of different features today. There's a lot of information, so please don't hesitate to ask questions. We're probably going to wait to cover all the questions at the end, so feel free to add those to the chat as we go. And also, at the end, we're going to be asking a survey question about any other topics you'd like us to cover. So when you close out of here, please don't forget to fill that out. And another great thing is that we will be sending you this recording. So we're going to get through a lot of information. If you miss something or you want to go back to it, we'll be sending you the recording afterwards. So you should be all set. But again, don't hesitate to reach out to us at Punchpass. So one of the first things I wanted to cover before we jump into the presentation is a little bit about plans and some of the features that we're going to be covering in this conversation. So we offer three different plans with Punchpass: our Bedrock, our Balsam, and our Banyan plan. Our Banyan plan is going to have the most fully functional capabilities, especially where online payments are concerned. As you can see, our Banyan plan is the only plan that works with Stripe integration for online payments. So that's a really important feature that we're going to be getting into. And at the top of the presentation, then we'll be talking through our Square integration. And Stripe and Square sound kind of similar. So we're going to make sure that you leave here understanding the difference between the two. But Square is available on all three of our plans. We also are going to talk about how to handle taking external payments in Punchpass, because that's available on all plans as well. So if you receive payment in a different format and it's not an integrated source, then we'll show you how to do that. And I'm also going to cover at the very end the feature of how to set your setup so that you can require a pass to book. This is something that I hear in support all the time. People want to make sure that, especially with online classes, people are paying when they reserve, so that they've paid, and that's what they have to do in order to book. And so those are available on our Balsam and Banyan plans, and I'll talk through those. These different features, we're going to get into it, and we're going to be starting with our Stripe integration. So Stripe is one of our partners. They are an online payment tool, and they have a lot of functionality. When you sign up for Stripe, you'll be able to see your own account, and you can look at your own account. But what they're built for a lot of different tools. And what we've done with Punchpass is we've taken Stripe and integrated it really well into our system, so that it works really nicely again on that Banyan plan, in order to accept payments and be able to do a lot of different things when it comes to offering different ways to pay, offering different kinds of discounts. And we're going to be diving into all of that. But really, Stripe was built for online payments, and we make that really easy through Punchpass. So one of the nice features about using Stripe and Punchpass together is that you have your own Punchpass schedule, and within the schedule is a purchase page. So it's all in one place. You can send your customers to your own Punchpass schedule, and they can pay and book and do everything from there. So it's really nice and consistent. With Stripe, we also offer the ability to sell recurring memberships and charge their card multiple times. We have a ticketing feature for events or any reason why you'd want to set up a specific fee for booking. And so we're going to get into that, as well as how to offer discounts and a bunch of other features we're going to really get into in just a moment, but just some things to get excited about. And they do charge a transaction fee. So Stripe doesn't have a monthly fee, a monthly subscription. They don't have any monthly minimums, but they do charge per transaction. And now this is in US dollars. Stripe does support payments around the world. So you can also check that out. They support a lot of different countries. And if you go on their site, stripe.com/global, you'll see the list of countries that they support, but you can also reach out to us in Punchpass if you have any questions. So that's really kind of an overview on what functionality you have with Stripe and if it's going to work for you or not. And then we're going to head into setting it up in Punchpass. So in Punchpass, when you go into your online payment section, there's an option to connect with Stripe. And so that's going to be your first step. And if you already have a Stripe account, that's great. You can just, it's pretty simple because you can just click connect and log into your Stripe account. If this is your first time signing up with Stripe, then you'll want to click the same thing. You'll connect with Stripe from the online payments page. And from there, you're going to apply to join Stripe. And so that process is pretty easy for most customers with Punchpass. So if you've signed up for any payment provider before, it's probably going to seem pretty familiar. But the biggest recommendation we can give you from Punchpass is to make sure that you answer any question they have as you're signing up. So that's just make sure that they ask for certain information, make sure you provide it to them. And then if you have any issues with that, or if you have any questions, like, you can always reach out to Punchpass. We're happy to help. But once you set up with Stripe, it's really nice because you can access it right from Punchpass. And we definitely recommend going into your Stripe account once you get set up so you can take a look at it, because that's where you'll see, if you ever want to see some kind of overviews of the payments and payouts, that's not a bad place to go and be familiar with. But what's nice about Stripe and Punchpass is that we've done a lot of the work for you. So we make it so that really the only Stripe features that you'll probably want to be using are already set up for you in Punchpass. So head here, and actually we're going to have a couple videos during this presentation to show you how to use certain features, how to set it up, and what it looks like so you can get a feel for it. So the sound should be working, but we'll go ahead and give that a shot, and definitely reach out in the chat if you have any questions.
Once I've connected to Stripe, I can head into Manage Passes, and I can edit my passes and set them to sell online. And once I edit them and turn that sales feature on, so here we go, I now have access to other sales settings, but for right now, I'll just click Save. And that will turn that to being sold online. And I can go to my public site, my public Punchpass page, and click on Purchase a Pass. And there I'll see my passes available to sell. Customers can click, enter their information, and then go ahead and purchase through the Stripe integration.
So that was a good little intro on how to turn your passes, make them sell online, as well as showing you what the customer looks like when they see your Punchpass page. They click on Purchase a Pass, they can see the passes that you have available, and then they can go ahead and click and purchase. So it's pretty simple setup, but that's from the customer perspective, but that's really what we're going for. So we'll keep going here. So one thing that you also have available with Stripe and Punchpass is the ability to set up memberships and offer memberships. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the cool features that you have with memberships because we have a really great webinar on it. Why to offer memberships, what benefits they have for your business, how to set them up in Punchpass. And so where if you want to go and check that out, it's at punchpass.com/webinars. It's where we host all of our webinars once they've been recorded. So you can definitely head there if you're interested. But just to show you what it looks like when you set a membership up to sell online, customers get an overview of the membership. So they're not just getting, they're not just purchasing a single pass, they're agreeing to pay recurring payments. So for this example, they're signing up for a 6-month membership. So we let them know that their card's going to be charged 6 times, how much each payment is, how often the membership is going to be if there's a trial. So there's a little bit more information when they're purchasing a membership than when they're purchasing just a basic pass. But what's nice about this, again, is that with Stripe, they'll be signing up, they'll be paying, and then Punchpass and Stripe are going to be managing that for you. So when they sign up for this membership, they get charged 6 times, and each time, it recurs and it's charged within Stripe. So you can see within that, within those settings, make sure that it's sold online. And that's really all you have to do once you set up your membership to make sure that customers can purchase it. If you have a customer who comes in and it's a in-person payment, so perhaps you have, you're offering in-person classes and someone drops into a class, or they know they're using their last credit and they want to purchase a new pass and they want to do it in person. We can support that with Stripe. When you go to assign a pass, and we'll actually be highlighting the assign a pass feature and how to walk through that in a little bit. But just so you know, when you're assigning a pass, when you're set up with Stripe, you'll have the option to select to pay with card. And once you do that, you'll see the option that'll pop up to enter their card information. So their number, their expiration, and CVC codes, so that you get all that information, you type it in, and then you can process the payment in person through Stripe. So it's all pretty simple. There's not much else here, but it's just so you know that you can definitely process online payments with Stripe, and you can handle an in-person card payment as well. So now we're getting into some of the fun stuff, because Stripe gives us a lot of new capabilities that maybe you didn't have before in other systems, or if you were on a different plan. But in the Banyan plan, you get a lot of cool features. And one of them that I really like is called ticketing. So if you're having a special event, a workshop, you might want to set a fee and say, hey, instead of worrying about passes and offering multiple different passes, I really just want to set this up as this costs this much. I want people to be able to book and pay at the same time, so it's not a separate process. And I want to do that all really, really cleanly. That's really what ticketing gives you. So let's take a look at that.
The ticketing feature in Punchpass allows you to set a fee or a specific price for a class type without using passes. So when you go into manage classes, you can click on the class, and then right in the middle, we have the option to enable tickets. And here you'll be able to set the ticketing price. And once you do that, you can go ahead and click save. So that's going to apply that ticketing price to that specific class. Now, when you apply ticketing, your eligible passes goes right to only that ticket. So if you always want people to pay that specific price for the class, that's fine, but you can also go into your eligible passes and select other passes that you want to accept. So customers can log in, and if they have that pass, they won't have to pay the ticketing fee. It'll just be applied to that pass. But once you turn on tickets, we can go ahead and take a look at what that looks like from the customer side. So we'll go ahead down to that class type. And you'll see now we have the required payment here, so customers can fill out that information and they'll go ahead and purchase through our ticketing feature via the Stripe integration.
So ticketing is a really great way to ensure that people pay, and also make it super easy for especially like new customers who might not have a login yet to pay the fee in order to book. And that's a really nice feature that Stripe provides us.
The ticketing feature.
All right. So one of the other features that Stripe gives us access to is the ability to add discount codes. So if you're offering any kind of promotions, we're going to walk through setting up a promotion for a new person who's getting 100% off their first class. But you can offer different kinds of promotions, and that's something that works really seamlessly with Punchpass and Stripe.
If you want to offer a discount on past purchases, head to Manage Settings and go into our discount codes page. From here, we can click on Create a new discount code, and we can set up our discount code word. So this has to be an all uppercase, one word. You can use numbers, but we can go ahead and use that. And then we can set the discount percentage. So one of the ones that I see really popular is doing a 100% discount code for first-time users. You can set an expiration date on discount codes. You can also set a limit on number of codes redeemed. So for example, if you're doing a special and the first 20 people get the discount, that would be where you could use that feature. But we'll go ahead and create the discount code. Once the code's created, You're going to want to click on it because then you can scroll down and adjust which passes and ticketed classes are eligible. So you can go ahead, I'll clear all here and then say, for our active passes, we can select a specific pass that's going to be, the one that we're going to use. So we'll go do this as a single class pass, and it's just going to be eligible for that one, but you could select whichever ones you choose. We'll save that. And then that code is now available. So if I go into our purchase page, and I go into our single class pass, I can then apply our discount code as a customer, and you'll see that get applied here. So customers can enter the discount code and then go ahead and purchase. So this one now is 100% off, but again, you can offer any type of percentage off for any pass in your Punchpass account.
So discount codes are a really great feature, especially with the Stripe integration. As you can see, they don't have to go anywhere else. They're just all within your Punchpass online schedule, and they can quickly,
If you want to offer a discount on pass purchases.
All right, so sometimes you might not want to offer 100% off or a set discount, but you might be offering a special pass that's by donation. So the ability for people to pick their own price in order to purchase that pass and then hopefully book and attend a class. And so Stripe gives us that functionality. And again, we'll show you how to use that within Punchpass.
If you want to set up a pass by donation, you can head into Manage Passes and click on New Pass. From here, we'll set up our donation pass and we'll set it to sell online. And you can set your own restrictions for that. Then we'll set it up as a punch card. Again, you can do any type of pass here, but we'll go ahead and I'll say that donations are accepted for this pass. We'll toggle that on. Then we can set the minimum donation amount, so the minimum you're willing to accept for that pass, and then you can set a maximum. So if people want to donate more, that's a great opportunity for people, to kind of support you and your small business. And then you can, again, adjust your settings as you normally would. So if you need to adjust which classes that's only eligible for, you can go ahead and select those, and then we'll go ahead and click Save. Then we'll go ahead and take a look at what that looks like from the customer view. So here's our donation pass, and it'll show us the minimum and the maximum. And this is where the customer gets to select by whole numbers what they'd like to donate for that pass. So they can select that through the drop-down, go ahead and purchase that through our Stripe integration.
So with the donation feature, it's really nice right now to be able to give people the option to set their price if you have, some special classes that are by donation. It's a really easy way to make that, a thing you can set up and have them pay beforehand. So kind of eliminates the need to deal with cash or anything in that situation. And we make it pretty easy for customers to set that number and select how much they want to pay. So that's, again, a nice feature.
If you want to set up a pass by donation.
Within Punchpass and using the Stripe feature. So another feature that we offer, and you might have seen it in the sales settings in some of these videos of how to set up a pass, but within Punchpass and with the Stripe feature, you're able to select some limitations. So something that you might select to do is only allow a person to purchase a pass one time. So they can only purchase it once. And that's really beneficial for, say, you're doing something like here, we have a New Year's resolution type pass, but maybe it's some kind of special promotion you're offering, you're doing a special discount or a challenge, and you don't want someone to be able to purchase 3 of them because it's really not to be used more than once for one person. So you can limit it to only 1 per customer. And then you also have the option to limit it to new customers only. So what that will do is when they log in and they go to purchase that pass, if it's their first time purchasing, right? They've never purchased anything with you before, they're able to purchase it. So that's a really great feature for those really, nice new student specials that I see a lot of our users offer. So you can set it to new customers only. So it's only for first time purchasers to be able to get that through your Punchpass page. But you might also want to limit some of your passes or memberships to certain groups of people. Maybe you have a group of people who've been with you from the beginning and they were like your first regulars, and you give them kind of special discounts. Or you might work with a local business and they get a special priced membership. Those are all, great opportunities to show people how much you appreciate their business and give them a discount. But with those passes and memberships, you might not want to make them publicly available on your purchase a pass page. So that's not a problem. When you set up those pass or memberships, or you edit them, you want to set them to not sell online. And that might be a little confusing, right? Because you want people to be able to purchase them, but you don't want them to show up on your purchase a pass page. And so if you set it to not sell online, with Stripe and Punchpass, you still get this purchase link. So you can just quickly copy that link and send it out to anyone who should be able to purchase that pass or membership. So I call this secret pass or secret membership, and it's a nice way to be able to allow online purchases, but just for certain groups of people. And that's kind of what I find really special about our integration, is that we have a lot of new features that you can play around with and make sure that it works for you and what you have to offer to your community. So if that's something that's interesting you, then I think that Stripe is a great option. And we're going to kind of talk a little bit more about Stripe versus the other feature we're going to offer. But first, we want to walk through that. So let's talk about Square. So Square is started out as sort of a startup, and you might recognize what that looks like. It's a little white square card reader, and that's how they started. And now they offer a lot more features than that, but they were originally for quick and easy online purchases for small business owners. And so they still do that, which is great, but they also offer an online store. So that's something that definitely will come up in just a few minutes. But Square is something that we support on all of our plans. So Bedrock, Balsam, and Banyan all support using our Square integration, and that's because it's a good integration. You're going to see a lot about it in just a moment, but it doesn't offer quite as many bells and whistles as our Stripe integration. So that's why it's on all of our plans. So what will happen is it can take payments via card reader, and you'll be able to see those in Punchpass. So it's an integrated payment, and also payments through their online store. So customers can go to your Square online store, purchase a pass, and then that will be processed in Punchpass. And you'll notice that, again, this is the US fee for Square per transaction. So if you might have noticed from before, that Square and Stripe are the same fee as far as the US pricing is. It might be a little different depending on where you are. So that's always worth taking a look at. But just so you know, in terms of that pricing, similar setup, it's a fee per transaction. There's not a monthly fee, and there's not a minimum. However, you would want to, if you're going to be looking at Square for in-person payments and you want to get a card reader, there may be a fee associated with that. So that would be something that you'd also have to take into account. Some other things to keep in mind about Square: for direct integration with Punchpass, it's only for passes. So while Square supports some other different forms of payments, the only ones that will be automatically integrated with Punchpass are passes. So memberships and recurring memberships aren't an integrated option with Square. So if that's a deal breaker for you, then you might be looking into Stripe. But that's an important thing to keep in mind. So if you just offer passes, then Square might be a great option for you. Your customers also need to purchase directly from Square. So they're either going to be purchasing through the card reader or the point of sale system that you have set up here, or so that's a little bit different than your experience with Stripe, because Stripe has an integrated streamlined page within your Punchpass schedule. With Square, they do need to go to your Square online store or in person swiping a card. So it's a little bit different where that's concerned. And so that's something to keep in mind. We definitely recommend making sure that you direct your customers, if you're using the Square integration, to your Square online store. You can always add a link to the top of your schedule to make it really easy and make sure people know where to pay. So there's a little look at the Square online store there to give you an idea of what like checkout might look like. And then it's also important to note which countries Square currently supports. So as of right now, they support accounts in the US, Canada, Japan, Australia, and the UK. So that might also be a deciding factor in whether you're going to be going forward with the Square integration. So the next video we're going to see is not by me, it's by our founder, Chris, and he really gets into how to set up Square and what that process looks like with Square and Punchpass. So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to probably not watch the entire video, but that is available on our Square how-to, but we'll just get started with that now.
Hi, this is a quick overview of the new Square integration with Punchpass. I'll show you how to get started, where to navigate to, and we'll go over a couple of gotchas just to make sure you're aware of them. To get started, you're going to click on Manage, Settings, and down here click on Integrations. There'll be a button to connect to Square, and you'll authorize Punchpass, and then you'll be redirected back here. Once you're back here and connected, you're going to want to go to Manage Passes. Once you're connected, what Punchpass is going to do is we're going to create an item in your Square account for every pass that's marked sold online. You can turn that on and off by clicking on the pass, clicking on edit, and clicking this slider to sell the pass online or to turn it off. If you turn it off, the item will be removed from your Square account. That won't affect any historical information, but if you create a pass or have a pass you're currently not selling online and you click that, it will create it in your Square account. That looks like this. You go over your Square account and you go to the items. You'll see the same passes here. One thing to look at, when you click on the pass, just check the description. Sometimes the import can be a little funny if you had an image or some HTML in there. The important point here is you have to create the pass in Punchpass, and we will push it to Square. You can't create an item here in Square, like another pass, and have it pushed over to Punchpass. So the pass needs to be created in Punchpass. So if you're already creating passes, or excuse me, if you're already selling passes in Square and you enable this integration, more passes will probably be created as items, and those are the ones you'll need to sell. So you may need to do a little bit of organizing in your Square account after you connect this. So once the items are created, then you've started selling them. The next thing is to manage the sales as they come into Punchpass. If you come to the home page here, once you have some orders, you'll see this little box to review your Square purchases. If you click on it, we show all of the Square orders that have been imported into Punchpass, and I'll kind of go through this page. The orders that are processed, and processed means that the order has been assigned to a customer and the pass has actually been created. So you've got the customer, the pass that was created, when it was purchased in Square, the amount paid, and then there's a link to the transaction if you want more details in Square. You may notice there's a couple of what look like duplicates here. That's a situation where, for example, Billy purchased 2 drop-in February specials. So the quantity was 2, and we create 2 different passes in his account. The gotcha here to be aware of is you may find yourself in a situation where, say, Sally comes in with a friend and wants to buy a pass for her. So she buys 2 passes. They're both going to get assigned to Sally. So you may need to come in here, click on the pass, and then assign that to her friend or create a new customer account. You may also find yourself in a situation where you have an order that doesn't have any customer information. That's very easy to do in Square because it's so easy to kind of take the credit card. What happens then is the order comes in, but we don't have a customer from Square to match in Punchpass. So you need to do that for us. So if you click on it, you'll see a few different options. You can see the transaction on Square to find more details. You've got the first name, last name, email address if you just want to create a quick customer account, or you can match it to an existing customer account.
Okay. So that was a pretty comprehensive overview of our Square integration. So as you can see, you'll create your passes in Punchpass. They'll get pushed to Square. Customers will purchase them, and depending on if you have the customer information or not, you may need to manually match or assign the pass to a new customer account within Punchpass in order to make sure that that's all processed correctly. So that's really an overview of how the Square integration works and how we're able to use that with Punchpass. So now that we kind of have a little overview and understanding of how Stripe works and Square works, I kind of wanted to make sure we understood some of the differences between Stripe and Square. So they sound the same. They start with an S and they're one syllable, so it can be a little confusing, but hopefully this chart will help us out here. So with Stripe, you're going to be customers can purchase on a page within Punchpass. It'll be in their account. And it's all kind of done really streamlined and seamlessly through that integration. Stripe also offers the option to do recurring membership payments and have that all tracked and sort of kept on top of within Punchpass. So that's another benefit to Stripe. Stripe also requires no hardware, so you don't need to purchase anything. You can really do it from anywhere. So if you do have a person come in and want to pay in person, you can open up Punchpass on your phone and enter their credit card number. So it's pretty easy, but it also doesn't require any additional hardware. It also comes with some nice features with the Punchpass integration, like the ticketing to set up a fee for a particular class or event, the ability to add and use discount codes and have that all tracked within Punchpass so you can see who used what and see the difference. And then also the option to support donation passes. So if you're offering passes by donation, they can select what they're going to be paying. With Square, you do have passes that can be purchased within Square, and then they're passed on into Punchpass. So they do need to be done outside of Punchpass, but then the integration sends the payments through. There is the potential for some manual matching with Square. As Chris mentioned, there's a chance that the customer information either doesn't match up or you don't have it in Punchpass yet. So when they purchase, you might need to be paying attention and make sure that you go ahead and match it to the account or create a customer account to assign the pass to. So that is a factor in Square and using the Square account. So they also offer, that card reader for in-person payments. And some people really like that feature, and that's what sells them on Square, is that they want to be able to swipe their card and make that feature really easy. So, it could be a benefit. It could be a con for some people. They might not want the hardware. It really depends on your preferences for that. So if you want to take a lot of in-person payments and you want to run cards, then maybe Square is a good option. One of the things to remember is with the Banyan plan, you do get access to both because Square is available on all of our plans and Banyan supports Stripe. You might prefer to say use Stripe for all your online payments, and then when people are in person, you want to swipe the card using a Square card reader. So all of that is an option and is available to you. Square does support discount codes, and I wanted to bring this up because we mentioned it with Stripe. But Square discount codes need to be created in Square, and all that information is going to be tracked in Square. So they offer that feature, but it won't be passed on to Punchpass. All Punchpass is going to show is the end price. So if it was, if they got a discount and the price is actually this, we'll just see the end price in Square. So if you need to do any reporting on who used which discount codes, you're going to need to go into Square to see that. So there's some different features here. There's some different functionality. We do recommend Stripe. It's something that we've built, that we've been able to work with and build a really nice, streamlined, smooth and easy way to take payments online. And we think it's a really great way to work with Punchpass. If online payments is really important to you, we tend to recommend Stripe. So, there's definitely not a one way to do it, but when it comes to whenever I'm talking to new people who are interested in using Punchpass, and if memberships are important to them, or if they're really focused on online payments and making sure people pay up front, then I often end up recommending Stripe. So that's a little overview on the Stripe and Square. We're going to move on now to, something that we might all have to do regardless of which tool we might be using, which is accepting external payments. We might choose or need to accept payment that's not an integrated online payment. And there's a couple reasons for that. If you do in-person classes, there's a very good chance that someone comes and all they have is cash. So being able to accept that can be pretty convenient, especially if you allow for drop-ins. That's sometimes a nice way to handle a new person, someone who forgot their card, they can't pay with that way. It's a pretty common situation that a lot of people come into. Another pretty common situation is a tech-averse clientele. You might have people who don't really love computers, who don't really want to use any of those tools, who maybe not, they want to send you a check in the mail, and that's fine. That's why you might want to accept external payments. Or you might prefer an outside provider. So there's a lot of Punchpass users who love using Punchpass, but they don't really want to use Stripe or Square, and that's not a problem. Some people really like the Venmo tool or PayPal. It's just something that they've been using for a long time, or they just used it prior to Punchpass and prefer it. And that's not a problem either. You can accept payment outside of Punchpass and still use Punchpass to track that information. And we're going to show you how in just a moment. But one of the nice things about, Punchpass and dealing with external payments is we make it really easy to assign a pass during attendance. So if someone shows up with just cash or a check, or they paid you some other way, then it's really easy to assign the pass to them. And there's also the benefit of using Punchpass reports. So even if you accept payments in other formats or through a different provider, you can still assign passes in Punchpass and use our reporting to calculate a lot of good data that you might want to use for payroll, or just for your tax purposes, or just tracking your sales. It's good to keep an eye on that and make sure that you keep a record of it. So we try to make that really easy for you to assign passes, even if you're using an external provider. So the first thing we're going to show off is assigning the pass during attendance. So if someone shows up and they are giving you payment right then and there, here's what that might look like.
When marking attendance in Punchpass, you may have a customer who drops in and comes to the class and they haven't paid. And Punchpass will always let you know when there's an unpaid attendance, but right during attendance, you can click on the no pass flag. You can assign the attendance to an existing pass if they have one, or you can go ahead and assign a new pass to the customer. And right here, we can assign a drop-in pass, and we can also mark how we received the payment. So if they paid us via cash, if we received the payment through any other type of payment provider here, but we'll go ahead and mark cash. We can also email a receipt to the customer, and then we can go ahead and click Create Pass. And that will bring us back to the attendances page, and it will now be a paid attendance.
Okay. So that's pretty simple. You just, as you're taking attendance, if someone shows up with needs pass, you can ask them for payment. So that's a pretty easy way to do it with Punchpass. But that's kind of a situation where we're dealing with drop-ins, right? They're coming to the class and they haven't paid. But you might have a situation, especially if you're using external providers, where a customer might pay you and it's not right around the class time and you're just receiving the payment. So this is how to do that from within their account.
When you receive external payment for a pass, you can always go into the customer account and click Assign a Pass to add that to their account. So you can go ahead and select the pass that they paid for. And here you'll mark how you received the pass. So for instance, if this was a Venmo transaction, you can add that here. And I'll go ahead and click Create Pass, which will apply that to the customer's account.
So that was pretty easy, right? I mean, it's something where we definitely like our integration. We think it's really, really sleek and easy to use, but we understand that there are situations where someone's going to pay in a different way, and you might need to assign the pass. So that's really how you can do it and manage it pretty easily. Again, it goes into their account. They can then use that to take classes, and you'll have that for your reporting. So you'll be able to, really have an accurate idea of how much you've been paid and how your sales are doing. So sometimes when you're doing external payments, or perhaps you're using Square and you want to still use memberships, but that doesn't integrate with Punchpass the way that it does with Stripe, you might still want to track those payments and track those passes and use memberships without Stripe. And so in that situation, one of the nice things is you get the option to decide, do you want to assign memberships and track payment? Or do you want to assign memberships and just go, we know they get paid. The way we do it is, separate from Punchpass. So you can go into your general settings and select to always mark a pass as paid. So it's really a personal preference. It depends on how you're taking, payment. If people are just paying you like, oh, they might pay you cash or they might come in and give you a check, then maybe you want to track the payments. But if you're using an automatic tool for that, then maybe you just want to mark them as paid. Again, it's personal preference and it depends on how you want to offer that. But either way, we really think that when you're doing memberships, that your memberships report should be your best friend, because that's where you can go and see all of your customers on memberships, and will also show the status. So if a pass is unpaid, you'll see that in the membership report, and that's a great time where you can go and talk to that customer or send them an email and let them know that they owe for that membership period. And we'll also always let you know if a membership is unpaid during the attendance process, just in case. So we're still helping you even if you're running the membership outside of Punchpass for payments. Now, one feature I mentioned at the top of the webinar when we're looking at the different passes and plans is that the Balsam and the Banyan plans support the ability to require a pass to book. So with that, I'm going to show off how that works and how you can set that up in Punchpass, because this is something I hear about a lot from support.
If you're going to require an active pass in order for a customer to book, there are two places you need to adjust that setting. First is under your online reservation settings. You're going to want to scroll down to the limitations area and select the option to limit the number of reservations to visits purchased. So customers can only book if they have a credit available, but this will only apply to classes where you adjust that setting. So we'll click Save, and then we'll go ahead and go into our classes area. And from there, we can click into our different classes. And here we'll need to edit. So for this class, what we'll need to do is turn on under the reservation settings, we'll be turning on require an active pass to book. So customers will be forced to log in and have an active credit available in order to book into this class.
Okay. So that's a setting that I hear about a lot, because people really often want to have people pay up front and make sure that they've paid in order to book into the class, especially with online classes where they may be receiving the Zoom link or whatever live streaming link you're using. That might be a good reason to enable that feature to require payment in order for them to make a reservation. And so we do hear about that a lot. That does come up a lot. Now, I just remembered a feature that I wanted to focus on, but I didn't highlight earlier when we were talking about Stripe. So I wanted to go ahead and log in quickly and show off something that I think is really important, and I think it's good to know about another benefit of using the Stripe integration. And so I'm just going to log in here quickly and show you what happens if you want to assign a customer an unpaid pass. So on occasion, you might find that you have a customer and they don't have a pass and they've attended a class and you want them to pay. And instead of just directing them to go pay online, what you can do is you can assign a pass. And you can say maybe they're coming for the single pass and uncheck the box saying that you've received payment for the pass. So that says that we're assigning the pass, we haven't received payment, and then I'll go ahead and create the pass. So now we have a pass that's on their account, but we haven't received payment for it. One of the nice things that we have to offer, though, is if you click on the three little dots, we have what's called a pay link. And the pay link is basically a URL for invoicing. So we can go ahead and email this customer and say, that, your last attendance was unpaid, click here to pay. And then you can, add that pay link. And just so you know what that looks like, let's close that out. What that looks like from the customer view is once they get the pay link, it's clearly it's your account and they just need to, with the Stripe integration, this is the pass and this is how they pay for it. So I just wanted to highlight that because as we were going through things, I realized I didn't mention that earlier with Stripe, and I did want to make sure that you knew that that invoicing feature is something we offer with the Stripe integration. So heading back into, just talking about passes and purchases, one thing that comes up a lot with when, I'm in support and I'm talking to people about their settings is pass class eligibility. So when you're setting up payments and you're setting up how you want people to pay, you also might want to think about which passes and which classes can go together. Because if you set up a pass for a certain type of class, you might not want it to be eligible for others. One of the big popular ones is if you're doing a private session, you might not want to make that pass available for your regular group classes, and vice versa. So when you're defining a new pass, you want to make sure you're setting your eligible classes when you're setting that up. So you can, as you can see, you can select all, you can clear all, or you can check specific boxes for the classes that you want that pass to be eligible for. So you can do that from the pass side. You can also do that from the class side. So when you create a new class, you also want to adjust the eligible passes. So again, you can set, select all, clear all, or go through and select which specific passes should be eligible for that class. And so when it comes to payments, you're making sure you're getting paid correctly for the correct class. So that's something that comes up a lot in support, and I always like to cover it, especially when we're talking about getting paid. So as an overview of what we've covered today, it's been a lot of information, walked through assigning passes, tracking memberships, both from external payments and also how Stripe works with that, how to set up requiring a pass to book, as well as pass class eligibility. We just covered that one. We went through our Square integration and compared that with the Stripe integration. And as you can see highlighted in yellow, these are features that are specific to the Stripe integration with Punchpass. So a lot of different things you can do. Remember the ticketing, setting a fee for a class, offering discount codes or donations if you want to give people a little bit of a break in terms of pricing, being able to limit pass purchases to certain people, either using the secret pass or only new people or just one time only. Those are all different features that we've covered today. And so hopefully you have a better idea of what you can do with Punchpass within your account, or if you're interested in signing up for Punchpass, what options you have. So now we'll go check out our chat and see if we have any questions. This is a great question. So Catherine asked, in the video, when we were showing selling online with Square, there was kind of an option that was saying like sell online, Square, and Stripe. And what's nice is that on the Banyan plan, you have access to both Stripe and Square. So you can set up your passes and then set them to sell online. And when you set them to sell online, they will be sold online both in Square and in Stripe. So that's one of those situations where if someone is using them for multiple purposes, they might be using Square for card payments and running those in person and Stripe for online payments. That's where you might see that in a Banyan account. Okay, I did have a question asking about what Stripe plan you have. And with Punchpass, there's only one type of Stripe account that you can have, and it's called a connected account. And that's what we work with Stripe. And in order to make Stripe and Punchpass work, when you're signing up with Stripe, you're signing up for a Stripe connected account. If you're not sure what plan you have with Punchpass, you can always go to Manage Settings and then head on to scroll down and head into Billing Information. And that will show you which plan you're on with Punchpass in case you're not sure what features you have available to you. And thank you, Claudia. Yes, there's so many different ways to get paid. It's very good. We like to hear that. All right. Well, I'll leave that for just another moment to see if anyone else has any questions. Okay, yes. So Rachel reached out again about which plan they have. So in Punchpass, if you go to your manage settings, you click on billing information, you'll see which plan you have within that. Now, some people, if you've been with Punchpass for a bit of a longer time, you might be on an older plan that we no longer offer. And that's totally fine. That's not a problem. But just reach out to us if you have any questions about that or have any questions about what you'd like to offer. Okay, great. So Fran asked, can I offer payments through Stripe, Venmo, and PayPal directly online when people buy passes? So what I would recommend if you want to offer a couple different ways to pay, and if you want to use Stripe, definitely you can use the Stripe integration, but from your Punchpass account, under Manage Settings, Public Schedule, you have a nice open text box that you can customize with anything you want. So something that you could do there is include your Venmo or PayPal information and say you can pay by purchasing a pass here, or you can go into Venmo and pay me here, or click here to pay me via PayPal. You can add links or just include, I think Venmo is usually like a handle, like where they can find you to pay. So you could add that to the top of your public schedule while still supporting the Stripe integration. Claudia asked, if I decide to only use Stripe, can I accept card payments in person through a mobile device? So if you're only using Stripe and you want to take in-person payments, when you go to assign the pass to them, you'll see an option to say pay with card, and then you'll be able to enter their card information. So you will have to type out their card number, but you can do that from any device you can use Punchpass on. So if you have a mobile device, you have a browser, you can definitely use Punchpass. Using a computer, no problem, a tablet, anything that uses Punchpass, you'll be able to select to pay via card and enter their credit card information in order to charge them via Stripe. Fantastic. All right. Give it another minute just to see if anyone has any last questions. Oh, this is a great question from Fran about taking attendance on a MacBook. So if you don't have a tablet or anything in class, that's fine. That's no problem. You can absolutely use a computer. Punchpass works great on computers. I mostly use it on a computer. Although really any device that you can have a browser, we support. If you use Google Chrome, Safari, Firefox, whatever browser you use, you want to make sure it's up to date. But other than that, you should be good to use Punchpass. So the only thing I'll mention is that if you use Internet Explorer, that's not currently a browser that we support. So really stick to Chrome, Safari, and Firefox, and you should be good on any device. Okay, so Annie just asked about integrating Punchpass into a website. And so this isn't directly connected to this conversation, but that's not a problem. I'll just mention that from within Punchpass, I can go back to that. I can just show you quickly. If you go into manage settings, we have a whole section on how to embed Punchpass. So from there we have the codes that you might need and a link to a how-to if you have questions about embedding, but that would be where I would recommend going. All right, well, that might be it for us today, everyone. But thank you so much for coming to our presentation on the different ways you can support payments within Punchpass. I hope you've gotten a lot out of it and you have a better idea about either what you'd like to offer, what you have available to you. Definitely, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. You can reach out to us in the chat. You can email us at hello@punchpass.com. We'll talk to you there, or contact us at however you found out about our webinar is a great way to do it too. But if you have any questions, we're here to help and definitely give you any recommendations that we can.